Hello everyone, and welcome into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Today's date is November 2nd, 2024. The show is brought to you by Hugo House. Use promo code Connor15 at checkout. 20% off on your first hat, 30% off on your second. But nevertheless, let's get into our main topic of discussion today, and that is going to be a report that came out from NFL Insider Deanna Rossini of The Athletic stating the Jets have received phone calls and interest in players at the trade deadline, such as cornerback DJ Reed, wide receivers Garrett Wilson, and Davante Adams. I guess where I got to start here is DJ Reed because if the Jets were to trade any players at the deadline, I think Reed would be one of the most realistic players to get dealt, and here's why. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of DJ Reed. I have not only his time with the Jets, but also his time with the Seahawks prior to joining the Jets roster. I still think he remains Joe Douglas's best free agent find. He's been a very, very underrated player for the Jets, and I guess the main reason as to why I could see the Jets trading him is because of where he stands with his contract. Reed is a free agent at the end of the season, and unfortunately, I just don't think the Jets have the funds to resign someone like Reed. I mean, they just went out before the season starts and signed slot corner Michael Carter II to a lucrative 3-year, $70 million extension. So that's why I really could see Reed getting moved. But he brings so much talent to this team when you really think about it. PFF right now has him ranked as the sixth best cornerback in the league through the midway point of the season. He's shown, he's really showcased his abilities on how he's a top cornerback in this league over his time with the Jets. I think his ceiling is kind of where he's playing right now, that top 5, top 6 level. And then I think at worst, really, he's a league average quarterback sitting in that, top 15 to top 17 range. So he's a very, very, very talented player and a very underrated player. I guess my question to Joe Douglas, to Woody Johnson, if the Jets were to trade Reed, is kind of the message that it sends, because I think if the Jets really want to go on a run and they feel confident in the group they have, they wouldn't go out and shop Reed, because Reed is, although the Jets only have 3 wins this season, he's done some really great things for the team. Obviously, over the course of the few years he's been here, but especially this season, he's been basically the Jets cornerback one. Ahmad Gardner, I'm not going to call him sauce. He's basically been he's been a liability if you really think about it for the team this season. So Reed has been really holding it down in the team's secondary. So I do think this team could go on a run, and I hope the Jets think the same thing. So if I'm the Jets, I'm keeping DJ Reed, and also kind of what does his trade value look like? Because I'm sure teams that might be calling about him are thinking, hey, he's a free agent at the end of the year. They're probably thinking the same thing. I don't know if the Jets have the funds to re-sign someone like him. If we're not super, super, super aggressive at the deadline, and we want to go after a player like this at some point, we could just wait till the season ends and then sign Reed. So I think his trade value right now wouldn't be much. I'd say probably like a conditional fourth, probably a conditional fourth, maybe just a fourth. I don't think his trade value is that high right now. So you might as well keep him and instill that confidence that you think this team could go on a run. That's why I think this team should keep DJ Reed for the remainder of the season, then hopefully sign him to a longer term deal next season. Now moving on. I don't even know how to present this, guys. I'm sure you guys are laughing too. Garrett Wilson. I mean, you could say he had somewhat of a slow start to the season, but over the past 5 games, 40 catches, it's I think 425 yards and 6 touchdowns, something like that. Over the past 5 games, he's just been elite for this team, and he's only in his third year. We saw the crazy one-hand grab he had against the Bills, 2 one-hand grabs for touchdowns. Excuse me, not the Bills, the Texans. He is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna waste too much time talking about floating around Garrett Wilson trade ideas. Now, last one that Rossini included in her report is Davante Adams, and this is a really interesting one. Adams is coming off his best game as a Jet. Only played 3 games for the team thus far. Obviously, they traded for him a little more than 3 weeks ago. Best game, like I said, with the team. That connection from him and Rodgers we saw in Green Bay. We kind of started to see shades of that in the green and white. Against the Texans on Thursday night, he finished his night 7 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. Really, really talented game. I don't think the Jets are going to trade him because it's a really interesting one, though, like I said. the Jets are gonna there's no point of the Jets trading him. They literally just acquired him a little more than 3 weeks ago. Like, there's no point of even showing interest in him at that time. If you had the trade, if you had the idea at any point, no matter the amount of success he had, if he was a bottom of the barrel receiver, he didn't touch the ball throughout his first 3 games. Any point you would trade him. It doesn't make sense for the team to really trade him. And I think he is a leader. He's a veteran presence. We heard what Aaron Rodgers had to say about his speech to the team after the brutal Steelers loss. His first game on the team, he was the one who stepped up and gave a speech in the locker room. That's what you want to see out of someone. He made it clear during his post game interview after the Texans game, he wants to be a part of this culture change. And I don't see any reason why it would be a smart move to deal someone like Adams. It just really doesn't make any sense to me, but that'll do it for me. Everyone smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Really appreciate the support. Share the show, friends, family, etc. Everyone, like I said, really appreciate the support. That'll do it for me. Connor Long, signing off. JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.